Here we have the ultrafine class, 16.6 micron to 18.5 in the white Suris. In first place, fleece number 101. This alpaca showing a high degree of luster within the fleece. You can see the clear tips to this fleece and how the fleece is organizing within the structure of the lock and how the lock is layering on top of each other. Great solidity to this fleece, brilliant luster carrying through, maintaining a real silky handle all the way through, which will translate over into the finished product. It's going to be great to see the next regrowth on this young alpaca. Moving to the second place, number 100, a real fine silky lock, developing beautifully. You can see a very distinct twist to the lock, developing here all the way through. As I work through the fleece here, silky to the hand, but comparing to the first place having that advantage for greater solidity and density. Moving to number 2, who is in the third place position. A little more variation across this fleece within the lock. Again, we're seeing an excellent structure. The fibers within the fleece having a silkiness to the hand and a coolness to the touch, but moving across the fleece, a little more variation with some straighter locks and the organization just being more varied, not seeing the same degree of consistency. And that carries through to the handle, just not quite as slick in comparison. Number 98 in fourth place, a very silky, high luster fleece here. This fleece carries across with that brilliance, and again translating that over into the finished product. Good length for such a young alpaca here in its growing time, but across the fleece in the outer areas just need to be skirted out a little bit more, just seeing some shortcuts and variation through the fleece. Moving to number 7. Number 7 in this class is 9 months of age. When I put my hands on this fleece, it's just a little bit drier to the touch. You can see as I open up close to the skin where the fiber has been cut, the fiber's just cross-fibering a little bit here. Not quite as much solidity packed into the lock, a little bit more dirt getting into the fleece, and a little drier to the hand. Would like to have that next level of brilliance and luster on this finisher. We have the medium to dark fawn in the ultrafine category, 16.6 to 18.5 in the Suris. In first place, we have fleece 105, 5 months cutting off of this young alpaca. Very deserving of this first place ribbon. When you look at the degree of fineness within this fleece and how the fleece is already organizing incredibly well within the structure. A real slick handle, excellent luster, and that coolness carrying all the way across for the degree of fineness, really packing a lot of fibers and solidity within the lock and across the fleece. That greasiness to the hand, that coolness to the hand, giving this alpaca the first place position. To carry through with that, this young alpaca also received the Judge's Choice Award for the Suri at the Bendigo Commercial Fleece Show. And you can see just this degree of excellence carrying through. It's going to be great to see the regrowth. As you look at the card here, you can see the consistency across. Moving into the second place position, this alpaca here carries a 6-month cut here on this fleece. Excellent structure already to the lock, and you can see that brilliance as well. The luster carries throughout the fleece, a very healthy fleece, a very strong, sound fleece, and this is going to translate over into the finished product. You're going to have that brilliance and sheen and the evenness to the yarn or the fabric carrying all the way through. Certainly very strong throughout the fleece and really packing a lot of solidity and weight. Moving to the third place in this class, number 32. This was an older alpaca, so remember these are grade classes according to the micron fineness. This alpaca here is 35 months of age. So what we're seeing here is a little different than the first and second. We're seeing a regrowth to the fleece on this alpaca. This alpaca does have a little variation in color. It lightens out to the tips and also lightens when you lay the fleece out. We'd just like to see some of these areas skirted out for greater consistency because they change in micron and style within the fleece. With that being said, really maintaining that fineness and softness as this alpaca is aging, and that certainly was recognized. We have a single entry in the brown ultrafine class from 16.6 micron to 18.5 micron. Fleece number 12 came off of a 10-month-old alpaca. Within this fleece, we are seeing just a little bit of light cotting. As I open up the lock, I'm able still to pull it apart. Within the fleece, you can see a moderate degree of luster carrying across. Also, a slight variation, some very fine little white fibers. So we'd just like to see a little more consistency. This fleece also had a deduction for being overlong when the fleece was annualized out to 150 millimeters, which is classed as overlong. However, even with that deduction, we certainly appreciate the silkiness to the fleece, but we need to be producing fleeces and cutting at an age where they are still usable within the end processing. So paying attention to that in our management.
Right.
Here we have the grey class in the ultrafine 16.6 to 18.5 micron. We have 3 grey fleeces in this class. Number 16, 7 months of age, exhibited very good luster within this fleece. As you put your hands on this fleece, a very silky handling fleece and overall consistency. When you look, we've got a combination of light fibers and dark fibers, and within that lock, those fibers carry through with a good degree of evenness, and it carries through to the silkiness and the handle overall within the fleece. Moderate within the structure and the density of the lock, but that handle and silkiness is what gave this fleece the advantage. Moving into the second place, number 17, at 7 months of age. A little broader in micron overall, and a little more variation between the dark fibers and the light fibers. Within this fleece, carrying a good organization already within the lock, and for the young age, a lot of fiber overall, but a little more variation as we went through the different colors within the fleece. Moving on to the third place, number 15. Really carrying through with a silky handle. Really appreciated that silkiness and also the degree of fineness and the amount of fiber that this young alpaca was packing on. As you can see, a little bit of a soft cot, but easy to open up, certainly not a problem in processing, and also still strong. We're not seeing any tenderness, a very nice healthy fleece. Unfortunately, this fleece was overlong, over 140 millimeters, so had a deduction in the management criteria that was on the scorecard. We're looking at producing these commercial fleeces that are usable and put into production. So again, paying attention to the management and shearing times. Very proud to present the champion and reserve champion in the ultrafine category, 16.6 to 18.5 micron in the Suri. In the champion position, WC Love Shack from Baruka, and the reserve champion, we have Utopia from Baroka. 2 really fine examples of the Suri from the degree of luster, the uniformity and the evenness across the fleeces. Interestingly, they came out of the fawn category in this ultrafine group, carrying those characteristics across. Congratulations to these 2 alpacas. Also, alpaca number 105 is taking the Judges' Choice Award, WC Love Shack, carrying through, taking the Judges' Choice Suri for the Bendigo Commercial Alpaca Fleece Show 2019. Congratulations.